Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, people. Happy Wednesday to you all. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. Like always, guys, welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast. We ask that you do us one small favor before we tie into each episode, and that is to like, subscribe, share the podcast with people. No matter what platform you're watching us or listening to us on, there's a little subscribe button on there. If you could please press it, that'll let us keep bumping up the algorithms, get more people to watch us, and ultimately when we do that, we can help more people along the way. Now, you guys are going to be getting this on Wednesday, the day after Election Day. And the purpose of today's podcast is to kind of tie in. This is kind of the time of year that happens every 4 years where people lose track of themselves, right? And part of it is that everything that you see, text messages, phone calls, social media, is all about who's going to win or lose the election. And it's very easy in this time to kind of point fingers and go, well, I can't do X because of Y. And you can insert whoever the president is to this where you go, well, this is going to be too hard or too difficult. But a lot of that in actuality, guys, is we're in control of our bodies. We're in control of the health that we're in, the shape that we're in, what we put into our body, what we don't put into our body. And sometimes it's very easy to look at the world around you when it seems like it's a little bit spinning out of control and go, well, I can't do this because I got this thing or this thing. And we kind of lose sight or lose track on what is in our immediate control and our immediate grasp the entire time, just because it's so simple for right now to go, well, I can't do this because of this, or I can't do this, or look at who the president is, and you're in control the whole time. Now, yes, there's situations, of course, that's going to make it a little bit more easier, or you're fighting against the grain to get what you want to accomplish. But those are always going to happen, right? You're going to have times where you have an election year. You're going to have times where you have a birthday party or you're going out and there's kind of this little bit of friction. That friction is always going to be there, but if every time that there's friction, you use it as an excuse or a reason why you want to throw in the towel, it's going to be very difficult to move the needle forward. So this time of year, guys, especially with the election, then we have Thanksgiving, then we have Christmas, then we have New Year's, like every 3 weeks or something coming up. But this is the time of year where you still have to put your nose to the grindstone and go, okay, I have something, there's a little bit of friction here, but I'm still able to accomplish it. And I have a fun statistic for you. So we have in our brains over 50,000 thoughts a day that are just constantly stewing through. And they've done research and they find that 70 to 80% of those thoughts are negative. And like I said, with social media and tying this into the election, if all you're getting peppered with is negativity and pissed off people, and you're doing this every single day, it's hard to escape from, especially with our phones. The majority of the thoughts that are going through your head are negative, and when you're constantly thinking negative stuff, a reason why I can't do something, it's very easy to go, well, this is just the world, or this is just the status quo. I'm not able to progress myself. But in actuality, if you can think, okay, 70 to 80% of these things that I'm thinking, viewing, seeing 24/7 are negative, try to get that number down as much as humanly possible. You might not be able to completely eliminate your phone or social media or text messages, but what you can do is kind of put it into perspective, right? And go, this is my bubble of what I think is reality. And if you're watching this, I'm making a little ball with my hands, but there's this whole outside world on top of that that really exists, the real world, that really isn't probably so bad.
I absolutely love this topic today. It is right up my alley because it's so mental. It's all mindset of whatever. You can have a very, very strong political belief and the election, you don't know what way it's going to go. I feel like everybody's anxiously waiting to see as any election goes. You don't know who's going to win, and you might be very passionate about a candidate or a side or a belief, whatever. And then you're going to wake up tomorrow and find out what the next 4 years bring. So obviously that's some anxiety building stuff, but the fact of the matter is it's out of your control. So you can have a miserable 24 hours, and then tomorrow you can feel relief and go, woo, my guy, my girl won. Or, it can be miserable tomorrow. But guess what? If it's miserable tomorrow, it doesn't have to be miserable today too, right? And
Yeah.
Seneca, the Stoic, one of my favorite, this ties in a lot to the Stoics, which I've talked about a few times. Seneca, one of my favorite quotes is, he who suffers before it's necessary suffers longer or suffers more than necessary. And that's basically it in a nutshell. You can suffer all day reading the internet, hyping up someone's leading in this poll, someone's leading in that poll. Oh no, oh yes, this is great, this is great. And just make yourself sick for the next 24 hours and angry, and your neighbors have a sign that you disagree with and you're pissed off at them, and your family member, they're going to run their mouth at Thanksgiving, and you have all of this angst built up, and it is your control is getting one little tiny vote out into this system. That's all we get, right? So you can control how you feel about things more than what happens. And that is the end game, and that is what's mastering yourself. So still go to your workouts to be on your point. Still care about what you're eating. If you're late tonight anxiously watching the election and eating Halloween candy, okay, but that doesn't mean all day you do that and you don't work, you know what I mean, and you don't put your best foot forward, and you're mean to your spouse, or you're short with your kids, or you blah 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 blah. It's making everything much worse for realistically something that is so small, little in our control. And ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, tomorrow you're still going to wake up, and no matter who president is, you still have to go to work, you still have to do your job, you still have to get your kids to school, there's not some immediate life is different. There's still
you wake up a millionaire and you're like, whoa, this is great.
No, it's as we know, you can, and that's not to say people, I've found I don't mind sharing, I've always been pretty, whatever with politics, and maybe I'm fortunate to be able to or whatever, but I've always kind of had a foot in both camps. I'd like to really stay just kind of observing more so than forming a strong opinion. I had my opinion. I voted the way I wanted to, but so I've come around lately to kind of get people's passion more. I used to kind of look at it and be like, it's kind of crazy. These people are getting bent out of shape over this. But now I can understand, I can understand if you do have, beliefs or whatever. I get it. So, but, I always relate it to, not that it's in the same camp, but I relate it to how I feel about sports teams, the Lions. I love it. And I hate the Packers, and I want the Lions to win. And if you're a Packers fan, boo you. And I'm a Lions fan. But I don't go play the game. I have nothing to do with it. I think I have control because I wear the same hat every game, and I wear the same shirt, and I sit on the couch. And if I'm sitting here and they're playing well, I won't move. And if I move over here and something bad happens, I have to get back. I'm a crazy person in that way, but I know I have nothing to do with it. And it is similar. You can be passionate, you can voice your opinion, but getting bent out of shape and affecting your actual health and days physically, because you're skipping workouts, you're losing track of whatever.
You're stressed. You haven't slept well.
Right. It's as much as we can control, we need to control, and it'll help you deal with it. Let's say you are really, anxiously waiting the election tonight. You're going to tolerate it more having done a great workout. You're going to be a little more relaxed, versus the other way around. You've just been sitting around eating candy all day or whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, and I think this kind of ties into either last week or the weeks before podcast, how we talked about how important it is to have a baseline for yourself. So you get these weeks that there might be a little bit of friction, but if okay, I still have to hit 3 or 4 workouts this week, I still have to make sure my diet is 80% clean, no matter what the world throws at you, depending on if it's the easy week, a tough week, or everything in between, it's one less thing for you to worry about. And it's one less thing for you to go, oh my God, I have to stress about this. And it does put everything into perspective when you're like, I can take care of myself today. I can take care of my family today. I can take care of others. And, long term, if you can do that over and over again, the chaos that's on the outside doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, and that's something that you have to do no matter who the president is.
Mm-hmm.
Or no matter what holiday it is, or no matter what, any type of variable. We're using the election because it's literally today there's there's been one based on viewing it, and right now we're on Tuesday recording this, but it's the same thing. There's these bigger fish to fry, it feels like, and it overconsumes, but in reality there is no bigger fish to fry ever than what you have, your business you got to take care of, and that is your temple, your life, your body, your mind, your spirit, your all of that you need to take care of. It does not matter what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and I think you said this quote last week, but I might butcher it a little, but they said, health and taking care of yourself isn't important until it is. Where you can kick it down the road and be preoccupied with stuff, and you're getting peppered with all these messages, and it's easy to lose sight of what's immediately in front of you. And you go, oh, I'll pick it up next week or the week after that, or when things slow down, or after the holidays, or after my birthday, or whatever this thing is. And you kick the can till eventually you make that doctor's appointment where they go, your cholesterol's through the roof, your blood sugar's through the roof, your A1C's through the roof, your blood pressure's high, and then you go, shit, I got a bunch of stuff that I've been neglecting for so long. Now the only thing that matters is taking care of myself.
Right.
And you can only do that for so long before eventually you kind of get to the tipping point where you're like, oh my gosh, it's too late. I got to be put on medications. I'm not able to get up and down like I used to. My knees hurt. My back's hurt. I'm, winded from walking up the stairs. And that's a spot you don't want to be in. But I think for a lot of people, we get so preoccupied by all this constant bombardment of what the world throws at us that it's very simple to look at your situation or where you are today and go, what am I able to control? What is within my grasp that I'm able to immediately dictate the outcome for? You can't do it for the election. You can't do it for whatever the holiday is, but you can go, today I'm going to make a conscious effort to make me better, make sure I'm there for my family, make sure I'm there for my kids. And if you can do that day in, day out, you kind of build this feeling of freedom.
Right.
Where you're like, no matter what I got going on, I know that I'm taken care of.
That's exactly right. It does give you a sense of freedom, and you're holding on to it going, back to my Lions game analogy. I can ruin a Sunday stressed over this Lions game, right?
I used to. My whole day I was a pissed off bastard for.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you actually take a step back and go, I don't have to do this. I don't. Now, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here because, like I said, crazy fan guy. It's easy right now because we're doing so well, but there'll be sad days ahead. That's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, you control. Like I said, it's not we can't control what's happening, but we can control how we respond to what happens, and in that comes that freedom that you mentioned. It becomes peaceful. You find a sense of peace, even if tomorrow the person gets elected that you didn't want to get elected. You can still find your peace, your pocket, your family, your life. All of that is still you. You know what I mean? And it's the way you respond. You could hear the news and it goes, oh, I didn't want so and so to win, and you can immediately go, okay, well, this is it. Whatever, America first. I'm still going to be a good person. I'm still going to be kind. And look at how little it affects you, right? And yes. Even if you have a lot on the line, even if you're passionate about it, that literally is an intrinsic belief and thought. Just like I could watch the Lions lose and go, well, okay, better luck next time, and just move on with my day and stay happy and positive. I know it's hard. I'm not saying it, and we're not saying it like, come on, just do it. Just don't think about it. Don't. But just that is the finite difference. We can't control the world, but we can control how we respond to the world, and that's every single thing. I just watched this clip. I was scrolling through my phone, and it was this fight on an airplane, and it was because somebody was upset with the headset, and then he shook the headset, and it was bumped the person. You know what I mean? It was their chair, and then the guy turns around, he can't get his seatbelt off, and people start laughing, and it was this huge commotion. And that was all just because one or the other, I don't know whose fault you want to blame it on, just didn't control themselves. They
Yeah.
had a moment where they lost their minds, quite literally, and just
Viral.
whatever situation set them off, they let the situation get the best of them. They did not control it at all.
It's very easy, I think, too, like how we were talking about social media, and when all that you see, and even though it's not true, but if every single minute or every hour someone was having to tell you the world is doom and gloom, the world is doom and gloom, the world is
Yeah.
doom and gloom, whether it's true or untrue, eventually you're going to start to believe that. And you
For
go,
sure.
oh, the world is doom and gloom. It's what everybody keeps saying. And then you view things through this negative lens all the time. And that's what we were saying about the negative thoughts in your brain all the time. If someone's always telling you, even though you can look outside and it's sunny and the birds are chirping and everything's great and your family's happy and you're good to go, if someone's constantly saying, oh, but this sucks or this is doom and gloom, eventually you're just going to start to believe that. But what people
Absolutely.
don't realize is you can kind of trick your brain into thinking the opposite. You can also tell your brain things aren't that bad. Things are great. I'm healthy. I have a roof over my head. I have clean water to drink. My kids are okay. And then that puts things into that perspective. And think of it going the other way. If somebody told you every single day that you're great, you're good, you have a house, you have a car, you have a roof over your head, you're in good shape, you're healthy, you don't have to go to the doctor every single week. Eventually, after weeks and weeks, you'd be like, God, I'm living the dream right now. I'm healthy,
Yep.
everything's good. But it's just
Yep.
the constant peppering of just negativity. Eventually, like we said with the baseline, that becomes your new norm. And that's all that you see the world through is that negative lens. So if you can
Yeah.
kind of trick your brain, and it's not a trick because I like to think that we all live pretty good lives, but if you can kind of reinforce that belief in yourself that I'm a healthy individual, my family's okay, I'm in good shape, everything after that's just basically an added bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. I had something good and then I just left. I hate when that happens.
One of my things that I do with myself when I have like an off day is that like mental recheck thing where kind of like we touched on, where I'll think back like 20 years ago and like compare that to like where you are now. And they said,
Oh
if
my
you
God,
20
that's the
years
best.
ago would have said, you have a kid or two kids, you have a house, you have a car, everybody's healthy, you're good to go, you're happy, you can take a trip a couple times a year, like, would you sign on the dotted line? I'd be like, fuck yeah, of course I would.
Dude,
But
I
it's
was just
very easy nowadays to always, someone's always doing better than you or someone's doing this, and
it's
you're
that's
constantly
what I
beating yourself up.
that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, we've had whole podcasts dedicated to how dangerous the internet is, and that's the biggest reason why is it's so negative. It's overwhelmingly negative and it's opinionated and it's this and it's doom and gloom and we spend so much of our time doing it. And you can look real big picture, spiritual picture. People aren't supposed to just be doing that all the time. You're supposed to go explore things on your own. You're supposed to go make a decision on your own. You're not supposed to have your day of production, if you spend all day on the internet, is absorbing opinions. That's not a day of production. A day of production is going out and raking the leaves or whatever the day brings.
Yeah.
And then you go and you witness something at the grocery store and then you form an opinion and then that is what human production and human growth is. It's not this way, that what's going on in the world with just the internet boom and social media and everything that we have. And everything used to be very, very privatized and quiet. It's not anymore. You walk out your front door and there's 15 signs. All neighbors all have different opinions and
Fighting with complete strangers.
for people you don't know, people you do know, which is even worse in my opinion because it's real life relationships with people that that could be just like you're just like, I don't really like that guy that much now because of just a different opinion. And it's just kind of weird. Something that would never have come up ever, but because it's an election year, yada, 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 So But yeah, the sitting around, the doom and gloom, that's just being mindful of that's what you're gonna get. If you do spend all of your time on the internet, that's what you're gonna get. Yes, you can just watch your TikToks of people cooking on Blackstone grills and Lions highlights. That's literally all mine is, over and over and over. Um, yeah, you can do that, and you can do mindless, and it can stay positive. But you click on the comments of those, which everybody does. You do, I do, because you want to see. That's just negative. It's someone talking crap, saying, "Well, this is the Lions, but they got lucky. That this, that it wasn't fair," or somebody calling the person cooking the meal mean names or something. It's just a cesspool of disgusting behavior. I don't know what it is, other than people don't feel good when doing it, and it's an outlet to get shit off their chest. They
Yeah.
go, "I'm not feeling good. I've spent the last hour just reading bad stuff, doom and gloom stuff. This person says something I disagree with. I can send out a nice FU, and there's no repercussions at all, and I'll feel good."
Yeah.
I think, because it's weird that there's just this big attraction to be so damn negative. But I think when using it, you don't feel good. 9 times out of 10, you
No.
don't feel good.
It's kind
You
of
don't
like
feel
eating.
good doing
It's
it.
like the immediate gratification. Like when you eat some shit that you're not supposed to eat, you feel good for 10 minutes, but then you
Yeah,
feel like shit after that until
right.
you eat something shitty again, and then you feel good for 10 more minutes, and then you
Yeah,
feel like crap after. Like it's the same thing when you're just doom scrolling
yeah.
and popping
It's
up
a
all
real thing.
these, yeah, conversations. One of the best things years ago, we went to Tennessee. We took like a long weekend trip in Gatlinburg, and we were in the mountains, so I got like horrible service. So I could like, you know, do a little bit of work on the computer, but it was just very spotty and slow. So I essentially had like no internet for like 3 days, unless like we went back into town. But it was amazing just having that. There was a couple days I looked around and I'm like, everything is okay. The world isn't spinning out
Well,
of control. Everybody in
no,
the real world is kind of friendly to each other.
but that's the thing too. I obviously everybody at the gym that I see all the time. I do personal training in my garage now. I'm seeing people all of the time, all day, every day. It's people, 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 people. And when you talk to real people and have real human encounters, when you're outside moving your body, doing things, I don't know the political affiliations of all these people, just to stay on topic of the election. Yet everybody kind of has the same idea that it's
Be
you
nice
just
to each other.
be freaking nice. But if you exist just on the internet, that's not what you think the world is. But
Yeah.
if you take, just like you were saying, you don't have service, so you go down to a town. You probably saw every single political party represented in this town.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. There wasn't, tensions were high. You were kind to each other. You said hi, thank you, whatever, good. This is food or store, whatever and you just moved on with your day. Instead, if you did that exact simulation on the internet, it would be uglier. It would. This person would have a profile picture that suggests something that you don't like and that person doesn't like, and this person is this and this, blah, 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 blah. It's just not real. And
Yeah.
so I'm sure people coming in and out of my garage, my house, and then everybody obviously at the gym, a way giant bigger number, they all have different political opinions. And we don't talk about it, get into it, but because it's been election circulation, it's just like everybody is just very much in agreement, and they might be in agreement and vote this way, and might be in agreement and vote this way. But everyone still is like, yeah, it's you're still got to just got to be a good person, just got to show up and be a good person,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, okay, well, good, if you exist, and that was the big thing during COVID. After kind of the COVID bubble popped and people started getting outside again, what people really noticed was, um, you know, the internet got really loud and got a big voice, and everybody started believing everything the internet said because that's all anybody was experiencing. We weren't allowed to go outside and see our friends and do anything. So whatever the internet was saying was
You took it for
gospel.
face value and you're like,
Ye-
well, this must be the truth.
Yeah, do you know everybody down here is this way, and everybody in what I can't even remember what the shit was 4 years ago, but and then we kind of got out into the real world again, and we went, oh, it's not. That's just the internet, people. That's 10%. That's 5% of what the world is. That's not real.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a great mental thing when you feel that overwhelming and you're sitting on the internet and you're doom and glooming, or you're anxiously awaiting the answer of this, and you're super passionate and you have your opinions, and to know that you can't, it's out of our control, and to humble yourself. It's kind of like a little humble yourself, to be like, I'm just a dude. I'm just one dude trying to figure it out, just like you're one dude trying to figure it out, and just you're one lady trying to figure this out, whatever. Like, we're just, you can protect your peace, and I think that's hugely important.
Agreed.
Undervalued.
Hopefully, this gets your head on straight, people. I know.
I hope this was received well. Kind of already in my head about. I don't want anybody to hear this one and be like,
no, you're good. I wanted this to be like political without being overly political. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, yeah. I think everybody's in that weird funk, though, where it is like every hour it's a text message. I'm getting text messages from different states I don't even live in.
Oh my God, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Say to donate to this, donate to that. I'm like, I live 65,000 miles away.
They know when you vote, don't they? I voted last Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing sending me texts? It's done. I can't do anything about it.
Check me off the list. I'm done.
Yeah.
But I don't
commercials and all of it.
'Tis the season. It's a crazy season. There. Thank God we only have one of these once every 4 years. But like we were saying, this is the time where people tend to think everything is out of my control, including myself. And when you do that, guys, it truly is out of your control. When you go, I can't take care of myself, I can't do this, and then you're completely just frozen. But
yeah, you take your hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
But you're driving your car. Only you are. Only I am. So there's never a time when you can afford to just be off and expect things to be okay. When you're driving your car, you need to be paying attention. You can't just go, I'm gonna take a month with my hands off the wheel. This is just too much. You can't do it and expect not to crash, right? So it's
speaking of hands off the wheel. Did I tell you? I think I told you that my car has that blue thing.
Yeah.
And I've tried it, and it's terrifying. So I can see if you were like, oh my God, like it's weird. It like works, but like there's like a sensor that if you take your hand off the wheel for like more than 5 seconds, it'll like flash, like put your hands back on the wheel. But yeah, but I mean, it's the same principle. You can only do it for so long before you're like, this is out of control. Dear God, I need to get my life back in track.
Yeah, you always got to drive. And you can get distracted, and you can go one-handed, or you can go change the radio, or you can yell at the kid in the back seat, but you're still driving. There's times you can maybe not be 10-2, eyes peeled, but when it's storming, when shit gets real, and you need help, and crashes are imminent, you got to drive your car. There's never a time that you're not driving. This was actually a pretty good analogy that I came up with in real time on this podcast. So,
not too shabby, baby.
Thank you. I'm getting better at this.
Not too shabby.
Now let's talk about something that really impacts the day-to-day. Za'Darius Smith, a Detroit Lion, baby.
I don't think we're done. I was reading something, and
I was hoping.
Take it with a grain of salt, but they said apparently nobody thought the deal would get done for a fifth and a sixth rounder. And we were kind of preparing for like a third or a second or multiple picks. So they go, okay, if we got him for next to nothing, they go, there might be another. They're talking about maybe signing the guy from the Giants still.
Ooh, that'd be great.
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind another interior lineman or a linebacker.
I know. I would love to get just an insurance policy at linebacker. Because if we lose somebody else.
Right. Like if God forbid Anzalone goes down, or, it's
Campbell or Rodrigo or,
Yeah, that's it. Well, Rodrigo already missed last game, and so who knows? It's an ankle thing, so the smaller joints tend to just linger the whole forever. Like there's
Yeah.
this
Well, that's
guy
the
on.
thing. They'll get it like 80% healthy, good enough to play,
Yeah,
and then they
septic.
like kill it, and then they're back down to 60%, and then they
Yeah.
never like fully get
Rehab it
all the
all
way
week.
back.
Right. Once you kind of get an injury, it's just the nature of the job. You have it all year. So
Yeah.
I remember watching Hard Knocks and Dan Campbell saying, I know you have to go because Sweet Ella's there, but him saying at the start of training camp, he's like, all of us in this room are never going to feel better than right now. You're going to be dealing with something the rest of the year. This is what football is, and which is so good because he was a player.
Yeah.
He goes, this is the best you're going to feel. So let's get out there. We're going to be taping and rehabbing and ice baths and this all year, massages all year, chiropractor, the Kirk Cousins thing on that one show.
Did you see when he had the brain cap on?
He puts his body through so much just to be ready to play at that level on Sunday. It's like people don't think about that at all. So yeah, if you tweak your ankle in week 2, it's not just better. You just kind of you learn to deal
Live
with
with it.
It's playable or it's not. So, but anyway, yeah. Back to the point. I would love a linebacker. I would love or an interior lineman just to take some pressure off of McNeil and Reeder because Reeder's had injury issues. So, or not Reeder. Yeah, Reeder.
Yeah.
Who's the guy? Oh, Davenport. I get those two confused. Davenport's done. He was
But Reeder, too,
yeah.
he wasn't healthy at the beginning of the year, so you wonder if he's playing through something all year round.
No, yeah, we need. Yeah, the thing is, like, if we can stop the run, which we have been, if we can continue to stop the run, you just can't help but feel like nobody can keep up with us. That was the thing with the Packers game. It's we get a touchdown or they get a field goal. Okay, I see the field goal. We'll raise you a touchdown. You're going to come down and try. Oh, you got to do a field goal again, and then they missed it. And then at that point, it's too late. Like, you're trading possessions. We get the ball at half. You can't keep up. The offense is just elite at every facet. So without injury, you're going to have an off game. We're going to go to like Chicago or something and score 10 points or something weird. It's going to happen. You're just not going to be perfect. But you play and we get I don't know. It's just we just need a track like I was texting yesterday about the Ravens because this is looking way ahead. If we make the Super Bowl, knock on wood, please, and we play the Ravens, it's like that's the toughest matchup. But also the Ravens defense isn't good. Like, it's not great. No. It's worse than ours.
Yeah.
So it's like, give me a track meet. We have the best offense. Now, the Chiefs' defense is really good. Can our defense make enough plays against Mahomes? That's where the real, that's what we'll see. But we've played good defenses. The Titans apparently are a top 5 defense. The Packers have been a great defense. And we went and we just did whatever we wanted. Because you can run the ball, you can throw the ball, you can do trick plays, you can run a special teams, you can pick six. They're just like dominating. It's so fun, but we need the health. So
I know.
Yeah,
this has been fun though. Usually we're trading, casting away guys for picks, or we're just trying to get a guy to like, okay, if we sign this superstar and mortgage our future, then at least we'll win some games this year. But it's nice for once to be like, we're already there. We just need to make sure everybody can stay healthy the entire year, basically.
Yeah, you just got to keep it rolling. That's really it. And there's going to be hiccups. I can see a podcast, 3-4 weeks from now when we, struggle against some bad teams, and all of a sudden go, oh, did we peak too early or whatever? It's like, no, that's just the nature of the game. It's what it is. We might have, Montgomery might miss a game or two, or I hope not. Don't get me wrong. Penei Sewell could, but as long as you get the legs to just keep going, I don't see anybody beating us. I literally think we're the best team in the NFL in every facet. I don't see. Now you got to do it, but I just see best game. You give the Chiefs best game versus the Lions best game. You're not stopping us. Lions best game is no incomplete passes, and that's real.
That's insane.
That's not a make-believe, oh, yeah, everybody's best game is. No. Well, only one team has ever done it. So our peak is perfect.
They had
Your
another
peak is
stat.
pretty close.
They showed a Goff to St. Brown have had 30 consecutive completed passes, which
I know.
is nuts. That just
I know.
the ball hasn't got swatted or like
I know.
one. He just had like 30 passes in a row. It's mind blowing.
It's crazy, and like that's just the running game is the story. The offensive line is the story. Anytime we need 5 yards, it's like, yeah, you can give it to this guy or this guy. Don't care.
Yeah.
Choose whatever you want. You want to go from shotgun? Okay. You want to go under center? Okay. You want to go end around? Okay. It's just like amazing.
We need 5. There's 25 ways we can get it. Well, when do we decide?
And what they do, which I love, I was just texting the boys about it, a 3rd and long run play.
I know. They did that last game. They needed like 5 or 6. And I'm surefire pass, slant route, curl route.
God.
We'll just run it up the gut on you.
Because what it is all they're thinking is get 3 or 4, and then we'll go for it on 4th and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when it's 4th and 2, you don't know what's coming. That's where Jared Goff play actions the hell out of everybody. He's the best in the league at it. Or you just give it to Montgomery and he'll get it. Or you give it to Gibbs and it's just so fun. It's just it seems unstoppable, barring injury. Knock on wood. That's like the biggest fear. It's what everyone's holding their breath for. Just keep the train in motion.
Fun time of year. These are the things you should be caring about, people.
That's all I care about.
And Detroit Lions football.
You said
everything else is secondary.
You said at the start of the podcast, everybody has 50,000 thoughts a day. I almost chimed in and said, I have 3. I go, what am I doing? What's my family doing? What are the Lions doing? That's it. That's all I'm thinking about.
Keep it simple, baby.
That's it.
What else, peoples? Should you need supplements, the whey protein has been flying off the shelf online here at the gym. Should you need anything, I've said it here and I'll say it again. I'll say it till the day I die. It's the best tasting protein I have ever tried. If you go to core4supplements.com, we have vanilla, we have chocolate, we have cinnamon bun, we have vegan. If you're sensitive to dairy or whey products, still taste delicious. And it's good for you. It packs about 20 grams, I think a little bit more than that actually, of protein, low in calories, hardly any sugar in there, and everything is all natural and approved by the FDA. So should you need anything, core4supplements.com. We have green daily greens powder if you're short on your veggies or your fruits, or you know you're not getting enough in. You can just add a scoop in there. I take mine every single day, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, that and a cup of coffee, and you're ready to rock and roll. And if you're a podcast listener or watcher, if you use the code word podcast when you check out, you'll save 10% off your order, and you get free shipping if you spend over $100. So that is all, peoples. Like we said, one thing that you have immediate control of is you. Make sure that you're taking care of it. Let the outside pieces fall where they may. But you get one body, you get one family, you get one life, so make sure you're doing everything in your power to make sure you're maximizing its ability. But that is all, peoples. Have a great day, and we'll see you here next week. Peace.
Bye-bye.